Welcome to Horribly Off Topic. I'm Steve, and this is Chris.
Hey, that's a nice way to start the show there, buddy.
I was saving it before you. I was waiting for you to push that fucking record button.
If I had waited just a second longer, it would have fucked everything up.
You would have, but you didn't.
My timing is impeccable. That's what she said.
When did she say that?
I don't know. That's just an old joke. My friend Liz was the first one to say that to an excessive amount. I mean, I'd obviously heard it before, but my friend Liz was the first one who, when we were doing a play together years ago,
That's what she said.
See? Yep, just like that.
But she did.
She did. She would say that's what she said.
No, but that's what she said.
That is what she said. She said that's what she said.
We need to stop before people are like, click. Episode 33 is a wash.
Yeah, no, let's be done with those guys. No, stick around, people. It gets better from here.
Yes, well, maybe.
Or you can, you could just tweet us mean things while you listen.
Yeah, there was a thing last night. I guess it was last night on Jimmy Kimmel. I don't stay up for late night because I'm just an old person.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
And so on Jimmy Kimmel, the president was on, President Obama. If you're listening a year or two from now,
right?
Wait, when's the election? Next year. Yeah, the election is next year, so it'll be at the beginning of 2017.
Right. Yes.
Will be a new president.
Yes.
So if Jeb Bush or Hillary we don't need another Bush or another Clinton in the White House. Am I okay? Am I wrong in saying that?
I don't think you're wrong.
Okay, so how about people, Democrats, Republicans, get together and elect somebody that's not a shitty person, that is, well, not to say that, Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton are shitty people. I'm sick of those families.
We don't have royal families here. We don't, that's not how we work. Although I heard a thing on the way over here talking about how much the GDP of Britain will go down. Sorry, the United Kingdom or the British Isles, whatever the fuck I'm supposed to say. Apparently there's like a...
Are people going to get offended?
Somebody will.
Well, fuck them. They'll send us a mean tweet like the president.
so we can read them. We can read
them on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Because we'll be relevant.
Yeah.
The president.
Like the president. Apparently, if the Queen... Well, when the Queen dies, if the Queen dies, when the Queen dies, the British economy is going to take a nosedive. I guess the last time there was a royal death, a death of the monarch, rather, not just
what's her butt in the car accident?
Yeah, not just her. And was she even royal at that point? Who knows? I guess she was still technically.
I think you could call her Queen Bee. That reminds me of a joke. So Mother Teresa dies, and she's at the
pearly gates.
At the gates of heaven, and she gets in, of course.
Of course.
And she's walking around, and she gets a halo and whatnot, and she's walking around. She sees Lady Di.
Yeah.
And she's walking around with a bigger halo. She walks over to St. Peter. She's like, "Hey, what the heck? I did nothing but charity for my entire life. Why does Lady Di have a bigger halo than me?" St. Peter goes, "That's not a halo, that's a steering wheel."
Oh, God. I'll never forget when she died was it was on my brother's...
Is it too soon?
No. When she died, it was my brother's birthday.
Oh, really? So it was right after my birthday, then.
Yeah, it was August 31st of 96. No, 97.
I don't remember.
August 31st, 97, because for some reason my father
So it was 18th birthday. Wow.
Yeah, for some reason my father and I were up, and we saw the news, and then we were getting up the next day to move John into ZooMass.
Oh, yeah, that he was going to Amherst.
At Amherst.
He doesn't listen to the show, so he doesn't care if we're talking about his life.
No. Or that if somebody wanted to do math, you just said it was his 18th birthday, they could figure out how old he was, they'd know his whole birthday.
I think I've said on the air how old I am, and he and I are the same age.
I'm just saying you're making the math easier for the dummies out there that listen to the show.
Yes, and we're calling them dummies now.
I want
you want mean tweets. Okay.
We want mean tweets, so we're just going to
it'll be Brian mean tweeting us. You realize that. Because he's the only one he's not the only one.
No, go ahead. That will make other people mean tweet us.
Yeah.
Brian is the only one who listens to this fucking show.
Yeah, and actively participates with the show. He's the only person that interacts with this show.
Now we just complimented Brian, which means he's not going to mean tweet us. So
might.
who else is going to mean tweet us?
He might just do it just to be a good egg. And then we probably won't dislike it. He'll be like, oh, you guys are nasty. He'll be constructive criticism.
So when the Queen dies, British economy is going to go in the tank.
Okay.
That I think was the end of the story.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
apparently, 51 or 52, the BBC canceled all comedy. Was the thing that this announcer was saying on the radio, and that the article that he read, and I'll try to find that article and link it, suggested that they will do the same. They will do the same or similar when the Queen dies.
The cancel comedy.
Cancel comedy. I don't know.
Comedy is the way people, or what people use
to cope.
to deal with tragedy.
Yes.
They're like, oh my God, this terrible thing happened. What do we want to sit and stew in it forever, or we'll go out and enjoy ourselves and remind. What the fuck is happening with that one? I'm gonna fix that in a second. But go out and remind ourselves that the world isn't a terrible place, and there are funny things, and you can laugh at tragedy. You can laugh at anything. I'm gonna fix the light.
You're gonna fix the light. Yes, you can laugh at pretty much anything. I don't know. Did you ever? In your illustrious comedy career, find something that nobody wanted to laugh at?
There was a couple like that. There was, I think I mentioned it before on the show. This show is a joke. On the show, it was it just passed daylight savings time, and I wrote a joke about it last year. Fuck you. Savings. It's like a savings account.
No. It's saving.
Whatever. I'm saying savings.
Okay.
Daylight savings time.
Okay.
Daylight saving time sounds dumb.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's accurate.
Well, I don't care about accuracy. I'm caring about how it sounds.
Okay.
And daylight savings time as opposed to saving time, which we are doing. Or not.
We're not saving any time right now.
Well, yeah, because we gave an hour away.
No, I mean we're just
Well, yeah,
we're
speaking from our backsides. I guess.
Yes.
So, I covered my mouth that time. I was very polite.
If there's a drinking game for the show, I think when you belch, it has to be a shot.
Well, if I'm drinking, usually if we're doing it here, I'm having a beer.
Yes. Okay, sorry. So things that aren't funny or things that people don't want to laugh at.
So I had the joke where it was like I was sitting on the toilet and scrolling through my phone, and I saw that Krispy Kreme was doing a promotion for daylight saving time, which was lose an hour, get a donut. And I'm like, wow, that's a great promotion. I wish they would do that for other things in my life. And I was like, my grandmother died a couple years ago. I wish they would have just been like, lose a nana, get a donut.
I do remember, and I remember
that was like you laughed at that joke, and it was like maybe a month.
It was about a month or
after
so
your
after
grandmother
passed, because it's funny. It's not funny that my grandmother passed.
But the joke is funny.
The joke is funny.
Yeah.
I can appreciate humor, comedy humor.
Thank you. But the thing is, I have no alive grandparents, so it's just whatever. Who cares? They're gone. We cared about them. Let's have fun with life still.
Yes, exactly. You told me to ask you about people.
Yeah. Are we already stretching?
No.
Here?
I think I fuck transitions because
okay.
I mean
we don't need no fancy star wipes in this show.
You asked me to earlier in the week when we were trying to figure out.
You could have not just. I didn't. If you had just not brought up the fact that I asked you to set me off on a rant.
So I didn't know you wanted me to set you off on a rant.
I did. I told you about it before the fucking show.
But in this version of the narrative, in which you paused to take a drink while you were taking a drink, I was just going to casually move us to the next subject. I was going to pretend that I was back when I received the initial text message, which just said. Ask me about bikes.
Okay, I don't know.
People on bikes.
I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and
people on bikes are not funny.
I don't know. Letting me off on a rant about people on bikes. So,
okay.
I have friends that live in the city, and obviously some of them are cyclists. Mm-hmm. They are fans of of alternative transportation. They don't have motor vehicles,
Sure.
and when they need one, they grab one of the zip cars or whatever, and that's cool. But it's just like I hate
people
on bikes while I'm trying, especially when the weather is bullshit like we've had.
When people start to be riding on the bikes before it's before the
like,
snowbanks have melted away.
Yeah, and there isn't enough of a breakdown lane, and it's just like there's so many, like, if these people were commuting, I could understand.
Yes,
like I would still hate them, but I would understand.
Right.
I would understand more, and I would be less angry. I would still be angry. Don't get me wrong, because when there's a fucking like. I drive through Carlisle to get home and to get to work. Like in the morning, it's usually not a problem, but in the evening,
lots of alternative people there in Carlisle.
Well, no, it's just that there's nice little back roads and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like, I guess I can't complain too much because I'm not sitting on 495.
Have the hipsters taken over Carlisle now that everyone's nanas have died? Because I mean, Carlisle was everyone's nanas, right?
I suppose. Well, Yucko's parents lived in
that's true,
Carlisle, and that's his nickname. So I guess we could say
Yucko.
Yeah,
Yucko.
But yeah, I drive through there and just like fucking like a little troop of them. Like while I'm trying to get home, like
Boy Scouts.
Oh
God, am I gonna make it out?
If Dirty Looks could make it on the radio,
there's a whole troop of them.
There's a whole like just line of them, and I'm just like I want to go home, and like I'm driving 25 miles an hour now or less than that because there's these cyclists there, and there's a bunch of people on the other side of the road, and they don't have a cyclist, so they're going, and I'm like, well, they got the right of way to be in their fucking lane, and so I gotta wait till they're gone so I can go around these fucks, and I'm just if there was enough road, like they say, share the road, share it. I'm like, fuck you. There's bike paths if you're gonna be fucking recreationally riding a bike. I'm sorry.
There are bike paths.
There's one here in Air. Like, fucking Air, for Christ's sake. There's a fucking bike path.
Fucking go on the bike path.
Yeah.
Now, I bump into I've bumped into, not literally bumped into. Jesus.
I'm surprised you haven't. Like, you're driving around in the fucking city.
Going into Cambridge down Mass Ave in the morning, I will often spot actual commuters. People who have a bag slung over their shoulder and they're going. Not so much in the last few months, but now that the snow has started to melt, we've had a nice week overall. Now I'm starting to see them, but the problem is we were getting down to roads that were, was supposed to be 2 lanes, maybe 3 lanes, that are now 1 lane, and the bikes are trying to cut into 2 lines of traffic, trying to get into 1 lane, and then there's also a bike. I understand why. I'm
surprised you don't have more vitriol than me because you drive in the city more than I do.
Maybe you're just more used to it. I don't know, or I've come to expect it. I'm not sure. Or maybe I'm just a nicer person.
Like, I don't know how these people don't get, like, decked by a bus or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think I had a student a few years ago who rode, student or maybe an intern at one of the places I used to work, who had a bike and got doored. Is that the proper...
When someone opens the door and they come flying, like, ass over tea kettle?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I knew somebody who that happened to, and... I don't know. I mean, I like riding my own bike, but I mostly do it on the path.
Maybe it's just and this is coming from a person who plays video games daily. I think that riding a bike is childish.
Okay.
And I don't know. Like, I haven't ridden a bike since my bike broke back when I was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And like the chain wouldn't do nothing but fall off. Like the microphone's on.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we're good. I would tell you if the light wasn't on. Was it not? Was the line not?
No. I realized I didn't check it earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, don't worry.
I kind of think of it as I feel silly when I get on a bike and I have to put on a helmet.
I've never worn a bike helmet.
I mean, I never did as a kid, but now in the intervening years between when I last
rode a bike... Is it illegal to ride a bike without
a... I don't think it's illegal.
Has OSHA come along into our daily lives and just said...
Maybe.
See, okay, here's another thing. Like... I used to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, I saw a news story today that said they were going to raise the smoking age probably to the same as alcohol or whatever. Okay. I imagine.
Right.
Might as well have them both be 21. But like,
who will make it 19, 20, just to fuck with people.
I started smoking when I was 16. Like, I got cigarettes when I was 16. I found a way. Like, and I knew no one that smoked. I still was managing to get cigarettes. So like, it's like by doing, I don't know. I'm whatever. That's beside the point. But what I'm saying is like, people want to make bad decisions. Let them fucking make it. I mean, like, yeah, smoking's shitty and it's bad for themselves and the people around them. Right. But whatever, like,
what are we gaining by elevating the age?
Yeah, well, or whatever. Like, just now that I no longer smoke, I smoked for 12 years and I haven't. Was it 2008 I quit? So fuck, a while now.
Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years I haven't smoked, and I. Usually, I try not to be a preachy guy because that I find that is more detrimental than helpful. Sure. But usually, I'll drop subtle. So it'll be like, that's smoking sucks. You should probably quit or whatever. Not like be like, well, you should quit because I'm better than you because I don't smoke anymore. Whatever. Yeah. But like, I want people to be able to, if they want to, if they're having a fucking stressful day and they need a goddamn smoke, whatever, like, if they want to smoke a cigar and drink a glass of brandy in their fucking humidor. I don't know if do you smoke in the humidor?
I think the humidor is the place where you keep the
okay, so you take it from the humidor and step out on your patio and have your brandy and your cigar and just relax or whatever. If that fucking floats your boat. If you get cancer because of it, then that was your choice.
Do you ever hear George Carlin's bit about cigars?
Yes. What's up with cigars? What's up with these cigar-smoking motherfuckers?
I mean, he compares them to big brown dicks. Yeah. Which transition makes me when
What you think of black dicks?
Well, those are the type of dicks that I think of when I think of dicks. No.
Again, a face that I wish you guys were here to see.
Do you subscribe to the theory that men who drive really big trucks are overcompensating for having very small penises?
Well, I don't want to like throw a wrench into that theory, but I drive a small sedan, and I'll leave it at that.
I didn't say anything about sedan drivers and small. I'm just saying you maybe are more secure with the size of your equipment. I mention all of this because on my way here today, I was nearly run off the road by a guy who thought he was driving fucking Bigfoot. It was a giant blue truck with giant fucking big ass tires. And
I thought those were illegal in Massachusetts. I thought you couldn't do anything in Massachusetts.
I don't know.
Or
I don't know.
We already got local for you a couple of times. Bike trails in the air.
We've got at least one more thing that I am...
I'm holding on to that gem.
But this guy was riding on my ass. I'm going like... with his big blue dick. And I just pulled off to the side of the road. There wasn't a lot of room. I just turned on my blinker, which is not a Massachusetts thing to do, and pulled off to the side of the road, let him and the next two cars go past me. I actually think the car 2 cars back was concerned about how fast I went off the road because they were kind of slowing down. Like, what happened to that guy? And I was just like, I know it's become a thing. I can't stand when people ride on my ass.
I'm the same way. I agree, and I don't do it to people, and so like I can become like road rage guy, but I don't do the road rage things that the riding of the ass. But like I do the opposite. Like if someone's riding my ass, I won't do what you do.
Right.
Well, I'll slow down.
I have slowed down in the past. That used to be my go-to thing.
Because I'm like, I'm going the speed limit or whatever. Like, especially on the road we're on, like 110 in Littleton. There's usually at least two police officers on that stretch of road. So I am not fucking speeding for a second. And a lot of times, like the speed limit is 45 for most of the road.
Yeah, and then
I'll be going 40.
Right. But then sometimes it goes down to like 30.
That's why I stay at about 40, because
Right.
if it does do that switcheroo,
Right.
I'm not in that.
You're
give
not
me a
I'm up in
ticket
that like 15
range.
mile over range. Yeah. I can't stand it when when people just can't stand it.
Plus, like, I can't go faster than the person in front of me, and I'm usually
Right.
probably I'm usually at least 2 car lengths behind someone else.
Yeah. I should probably hang back a little bit more than I do from the car in front of me. I don't ride them by any stretch of the imagination, because my dad used to do it. I don't know if I'm 2 car lengths behind. Now I'm going to think about that, whether or not I should be.
I'm like on the highway, I'm like a football field behind people. And like, there's somebody coming up on me. I'm like, seriously, this is not a one lane road.
Yeah.
I'm not going to move out of your fucking way. I'm in the middle lane.
Right.
Fucking pass me like an adult instead of fucking trying to force me out of your way, you fuck.
Yeah. It's like, use the passing lane for what the passing lane is for.
This is, I'm like, if there's people like listening in other parts of the country, which probably, I mean, this may be Brian, but Brian's from up here, so.
Right.
But like, I'm sure there's people that listen that are like, they're like, I don't understand what you're fucking talking about. Like, your brother, if he ever decides to listen,
Right.
Like,
There's some. Where is that guy from? There's a guy, Brandon, who listens to the show, who complimented me on our show notes on Twitter the other day.
Oh.
He said our show notes. He's like, why
are
can't
you forwarding me these Twitters?
I
or
didn't
whatever?
think about it.
I want accolades.
It's been a chaotic week. Anyway, I forget where Brandon's from. He might not know what we're talking about. I don't know.
As far as like, because I don't know, like, if other parts, like, I know that when I was in the Midwest, there was like,
I mean, they must have passing lanes, right?
Yeah, they do, but like, it's a more lackadaisical.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that. I want to say it's more like there's more low key. I mean,
People
there's
from
not
the
as
Midwest
much.
are supposed to be nice.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Like, at least on the outward front.
Right.
And the same with the South. Like, people are nicer.
Right. At least outwardly. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, the thing is, like, when I lived down south, I lived with a bunch of fucking people from the Northeast.
Yeah.
So whatever.
All us asshole transplants
Yeah.
who get priced out of our own fucking state.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. I'm getting priced out of my damn house.
That's cool.
And that's why I didn't forward you that tweet. It's why I haven't done my homework.
You still haven't read the One Piece?
I have not read the One Piece, and I have not watched the DVD that you gave me.
I gave him Wet Hot American Summer to watch, folks. If you haven't seen it already, you should. Because Netflix, I said the name of the streaming service, but I have it would help people find it.
Yeah.
Netflix is coming out over the summer. I think it's the same around the same time the new season of Orange is the New Black is coming out. They're coming out with a series of basically that's a prequel, but not like a prequel in it's.
Not prequel in years, but prequel.
It's a prequel
in
not days, but like because like anybody that's seen Wet Hot American Summer, it takes place, and I'm not giving away anything here, on the last day of summer camp.
Right.
So the series basically picks up on the first day of summer camp.
Gotcha.
And they basically got the entire cast, which is pretty impressive because, I mean, the movie was made back in 2000, maybe 2001.
Yeah.
And what was it? A couple of the actors are more famous now.
Right.
Like Paul Rudd is definitely a little bit more famous. Bradley Cooper was just in a movie that was...
You got Ant-Man and Rocket Raccoon right there.
Yeah. Asshole.
We're I might get to move back to Massachusetts to my parents' house.
Hey, I am not going to judge, and I think a great deal of maybe not our generation, because we are technically Generation X. We're the tail end of it.
We are the tail end.
But
we are the ass end of Generation X.
I like John and I
are very much the ass end. Like you're like the like sphincter.
Yeah,
I might be up in the colon.
Yeah.
of Generation X.
So yeah, but the millennials, which is the ones after. I like Generation Y more. The MTV generation. I like that more than millennials, because it sounds like privileged asshats.
Which is.
How are your students doing?
I was about to say something very, very wrong, wasn't I? About But the fine folks born in the 80s and the early 90s.
No, I think isn't it more than that?
Or 80s into the 90s, all the way through the 90s.
And today. We're like mixed 94.5.
Oh, 98.5. What are you talking about?
What's 94 for?
94.5 was like jamming.
Oh yeah, it's not jamming anymore. What is it?
I don't know. I mean,
no, it still is jamming.
It's all fucked up, is what it is. I mean,
Boston radio stations, everybody,
getting local for you. 98.5 is fucking Sports Hub now. 101.7 WFNX, not WFNX anymore. It's a fucking country station. I mean, that is fucked up.
I'm sorry.
Just saying.
Okay,
not that I listen to any...
The thing is, like, what else are they going to put on the fucking radio? Like,
that's the only people who listen to the radio are people who listen to country.
No, not necessarily that. It's just like, well, this is me and my radio high horse, but like, you know, when you have two companies that own every radio station, everything is homogenized, everything's the fucking same, so you have no original content.
In the city you watch, there are billboards for KISS, and then for which is the how would you describe KISS?
It's a top 40 station.
KISS 108, it's the top 40 station, and the country station have the exact same like silhouette, like three like headshots of various
artists and like, you know, be top 40 artists like
right,
Taylor
and then
Swift
the logo of the station in the exact same place. So basically, some graphic designer is like, all right, so for the KISS one, put the KISS one in, and we get Katy Perry, Justin Timberlake.
But there's like a KISS station in every, like we don't have to.
I shouldn't.
This isn't even getting local for you. There's a KISS station in every like town in America because. I think maybe CBS owns them, or it might be Clear Channel. I don't know. Look it up and prove us wrong and yell at us.
But whatever station like also owns one of the country stations. They've got the exact same billboard except with country stars and then the
because you're just like, hey, we need to get people listening to this bullshit crap.
Yes, where they play more damn commercials than they play songs.
But then there's like some stations that where they're like, well, let's get away from commercials and we're gonna play more songs. And
we're gonna play more songs per hour than anybody else.
But who gives?
And like, then 15 minutes of commercials.
No, but like the thing is, like, who gives a shit about listening? Like back in the day, listening to the radio used to be where you found out about new music. That's not what fucking happens anymore. Right. So basically, radio stations are trying to figure out what people are listening to and then playing that. Yeah. They're playing catch up and they're not doing it right. No. And it's fucking stupid. And so they have no original programming. They have the same morning DJs are like, oh, we're like a work couple and we're like work married and here's our fun stupid radio show and we hate each other. That was supposed to be more funny than it was.
It was pretty bad. No, I mean I see where you're going, and I completely agree. I don't listen to the radio because I can play any song I want to on my damn little pocket computer.
Yeah, and if you don't have the song, you can put it on like some sort of streaming service, like Pandora or something. Yeah. And then just like, oh, I like this band, to play songs that are like that, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'll keep on listening to this. Or no, I don't like this, and then don't play that shit again. Yeah. And fucking, why would you? Well, you know, sometimes
for the personalities, that's the only reason you would go back to the radio. Yeah, but then basically you just end up with talk radio, and if you're
you can't like do edgy talk radio anymore because like what was it like? I don't want to say that O&A and Stern ruined it for everybody,
but you can say that a little bit.
Well, they might have contributed a little bit to it. Maybe that's why the tougher FCC rules came down. Yeah. But if I was the chairman of the FCC, I'd be like, fucking parent your children. We're gonna let people say whatever they want. Like, I'm sorry if you have your kid and they're listening to dirty things. We'll have stations that are not dirty things, like, you know, like a top 40 bullshit. Right. But then there'll also be this, and like if kids are still listening to the radio in 20-aught something, then.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting.
But the thing is, that's how you get kids interested, is to have something edgy or something that they're not supposed to fucking have, like a cigarette or a fucking dirty radio show or something.
Oh, how do we get? I don't even remember how we got talking about.
I don't know. I'm turning into more of a curmudgeon every day. Yeah. I hate the way things are, and I want them to go back to the way they were.
Oh, maybe we were talking about the fact that
with less bikes and more edgy radio shows.
More edgy radio shows.
I mean, we are one, I guess.
We are. We're radio. We're theater of the mind.
Yes.
Theater of the mind.
So we're not actually saying these things. This is all in your mind.
Spring break starts right now.
Woo! Tits!
Woo! No. There won't be any tits because I have to leave my house every 2 fucking hours. So no longer can I sit around in my underwear and jerk off all day.
Like you don't do already.
We had the episode where I I jerk off from time to time in my house.
Good.
Not anymore.
Hopefully not when your daughters are around.
No. But I have been known to do it just when I'm home alone, and now you're
like Another visual joke for the radio.
Yes, and I exclusively to pictures of Joe Pesci.
Gross.
And Daniel Stern. I mean, can't forget about Daniel Stern.
He was the voice of what was it?
Wonder Years.
And also the fucking Christmas movie.
That's true. Which Christmas movie?
He was the Christmas Story, the one they play on TBS all day.
That one?
Yeah.
That's Daniel Stern?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's where he got his talking about the past, about being a boy, and then it's like, oh, let's give this guy the
show with Fred Savage.
Do you think Fred Savage grew up that kind of looked like Daniel Stern?
I don't. No, he was in interesting Fred Savage story.
Oh, good.
He was in a movie called The Rules of Attraction, based on a Bret Easton Ellis novel. And
I think I've seen that movie.
He was a heroin addict in it, about as far from his image on Wonder Years as you could possibly get.
Trying to smooch on Winnie Cooper.
I think there might have been a part where he was trying to inject heroin into his dick. But maybe I'm just making that up. Maybe that's one of the things.
Maybe it was wishful thinking.
No. So I don't get to jerk off anymore because at a moment's notice there could be somebody coming to my house to decide whether or not they want to buy it.
Just not you.
Just not me.
I was because
coming to my house.
Yeah.
Coming into my house.
Yeah.
Coming on my house.
All right. I also read a news story, and this one's kind of funny, but it's also kind of a dick move. Did you watch any of Breaking Bad?
First season and a half. I want to finish it, but I've only gotten a season and a half.
So there's this isn't going to be important spoilers.
Okay.
But there's a point in the series where Walter,
yes.
Is it Brian or Ryan?
I
think it's Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
Okay. His character throws a pizza on the roof of his house.
I've seen this scene,
and it's pretty
on a YouTube clip.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But now the people are going to that house in Albuquerque and throwing pizza.
That is great. That is something that I would want to do but never do, and I'm glad.
It's totally a dick, what is it? Vince Gilligan.
Yeah.
Is it Gilligan?
Gilliam? Let's go with Gilligan.
Let's Vince Gilligan.
Vince Gilligan.
Like the skipper hits him with his hat. He was like, dude, stop throwing pizzas on this is a person's house. Like, stop doing it, idiots.
I have a student who is obsessed with Breaking Bad. He is a brilliant student. He's working on screenplays now. He started off when I met him doing short stories, but he's great to follow on Twitter. He talks about film in a way that I probably should know because I probably should have taken more communications classes and I didn't.
I took a bunch of them, and I can't talk about film on Twitter. 140 characters. I can't fucking talk about my bowel movements.
Well, I mean, he does it. He did it the other night, a series of tweets. Anyway, he was after me to watch Breaking Bad. I finally watched, like I said, the first season and a half of it, and I got as far as. Have you watched the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, I got as far as when his wife is pregnant and starts smoking. Bringing it back to the smoking. So she pulls out the cigarette. I think it's at the end of an episode where that happens. And it's not that I stopped watching because that upset me. It's just that I ran out of time. Now that it's spring break, maybe I do that, but I can't because I got to leave my house.
I don't know. I may be in the minority here, but pre Giant Prego Skylar.
Yeah.
I was into. I was into her.
She was. I don't think you're in the minority.
Okay.
She was an attractive lady.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I bring up that student because if he ever hears this and I got Gilligan wrong, he's just
Vince Gilligan.
Vince Gilligan. I might just call this one Vince Gilligan to attract his attention to see if he
Well, Lobby.
Well,
Vince Gilligan's at the door. That was my Mr. Howell.
All right, so he
does these impressions. It makes it sound like the real people.
Theater of the mind. I do have fun. I do
once a week when we do
have
the show.
Fun. Once a week when we do the show. Yeah, no. I do have fun. I tweeted on Monday after we released the show that contrary to my podcast persona, I do have fun.
Oh.
Even in sometimes strange ways. I sat down for 2 hours and watched the Apple event, subtitled "Spring Forward," which is about their new laptop.
In fall, do they have a fallback so they can have a computer that has a fucking port in it?
You have a problem with the one port on the laptop?
I have a problem with like my current one that I had to buy an adapter, like a mini display port to HDMI port, so I could hook it up to my computer or to my TV.
So you have a problem. You're kind of anti
lack of ports. Yes. I want to be able to connect it to something, like maybe like, and not just have everything be in the fucking cloud.
So I'm with you there. I don't think everything should be in the cloud, but
that's how, like, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, like naked pictures of celebrities that
in the cloud, that those should be in the cloud so that we can see them.
Well, I don't know. It's shitty that people's privacy is getting invaded, but it's kind of awesome. Like, I don't know if I ever had. I don't.
If you haven't,
I don't take it. I don't make it a
pictures.
Practice to send like photographs. Well, I can't say I've never done it in the past. But I've never had my face in the picture, so people are like, well, unless I like got a really good look, then
yeah, that big mall.
I didn't timestamp it in location, like this is wherever I'm at.
Yeah, so you don't
vacation.
Take dick pics.
I try not to.
Yeah,
sometimes get a little bit of the fluid in me, and
I can say that I've never taken a picture of my dick.
Hooray!
Nobody.
I'm sure there's plenty of like angry ex-girlfriends that have blackmail for me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they have so much anger towards me.
As we've talked about, there's one ex-girlfriend that's even seen my dick. So.
Oh. All right. So yeah, I like ports.
You
Chris.
like ports? Yes.
At least some, like a couple of fucking like USB ports.
Okay, so
the thing that you can connect your fucking phone to the computer with.
Okay, gotcha. So the thing that we're talking about, if you're not familiar, is that as part of their event, Apple announced the MacBook, which they haven't had in a while. They haven't had one that was just called MacBook. They have MacBook Air, MacBook Pro right now. Now this new one is called.
It's called MacBook Fart.
It's called the MacBook.
Oh.
And it has one port. It has a USB-C port on one side. On the other side, it's got a headphone jack, which, technically, that's a port. It's something you can plug something into.
Yeah. It's something that is important. Important.
I have no problem with this laptop.
Because you don't have to buy it. I don't either, but...
I hate laptops just in general. I think laptops are stupid.
Sometimes you just want to watch like some porn on your bed.
That's why I have an iPad.
I'm sorry, like I don't have an iPad. I bought this before iPads were in price ranges.
Well, so I understand where you're coming from, right? Because if your laptop is your main machine, right, and you use it as a laptop, I have no problem with you. I
just put a little book underneath it usually, so I don't burn my belly.
So you don't burn your It's not actually they don't call them laptops at Apple. They call them notebooks because they don't want to be. I think it was in response to some damn legal thing about if you put them on your lap, the temperatures could be unsafe. So they call them notebooks. Just putting that there.
I don't think I've ever put a laptop on my lap. Like how is it like in like maybe on the front part of my lap, like on my front, like near my knees?
Yeah.
Not like near my junk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but even the heat and the radiation, could get into your junk. So I understand people who have laptops to a certain extent. What I don't understand, and this is I understand your criticism. What I don't understand, and this is what's been pissing me off all week as I've been listening to the various Apple pundits on podcasts that I listen to, are people who are all up in arms about the lack of ports because they plug their fucking computers into goddamn big-ass monitors and use their laptops as fucking desktop computers.
But yeah, sometimes I want to watch a fucking episode of One Piece that had just posted online on my fucking television, and it's the only computer I have, and there we go.
I get it. I don't get why these assholes, these fucking technology douchebags that I listen to and that I love, have to complain about the fact that, you know, this one thing, this computer, which again, as you said, you don't have to buy, has one port on it, and therefore I can't use the goddamn thing to plug it into my big ass monitor and also plug in this peripheral and that peripheral and that. Like, what the fuck do you need all these things for? I don't understand
why they, like, why...
The same people complain about the fact that you can't replace the RAM, you can't upgrade the hard drive. Like, I don't want to do that shit.
Why is there no disk drive anymore?
Why is there no disk drive? Because you can make the thing far fast. Why, you mean floppy disk or CD-ROM?
Or whatever the fuck I have on there. It's like a DVD-ROM drive.
When was the last time you put one into the is the
when standard? I get a new CD, I put it into my iTunes. How the fuck am I gonna?
But we're old people, right? I don't buy CDs, right?
I don't normally, but I recently got one because
you want 2 CDs.
I did get 2 CDs, and I'll fucking show you what I got.
No, so yes, there are definitely reasons for it.
All right, so Nintendo, because I bought both versions of Smash Brothers, both for the 3DS and for the Wii U, they sent me a soundtrack CD of both of the games. And it's like a 2-disc set, and how the hell am I going to get it onto my iTunes where I can listen to it reliably if I don't have a fucking drive?
You can buy an external drive if you need it. You can buy an external drive if you need it, or
you could just fucking have it.
Apple
in the computer.
Still sells one computer that has a disk drive, if you really want it. I remember when I worked at the store, that was one of those things. If somebody was really convinced they needed a CD drive, I'd just point them to there was still one computer that had a CD drive. My point being, like, you don't have to buy this laptop. These tech people are all paranoid that all laptops are going to go this way. They have the same complaint about the fact that Apple is obsessed with thinness. Yes, they're obsessed with thinness. If you don't like it,
you know what?
Go find another fucking computer.
Apple is fat shaming computers.
I like this laptop because it's thin. It doesn't have a whole ton of ports. It doesn't make any damn noise. So it has no fan. So if you're going to record a podcast, like you and I are recording a podcast,
we're doing it on the
we are doing it on an iPad. If I needed to have a laptop for some reason, I would go grab that one in a heartbeat because it would allow me to record the podcast.
Well, if someone could donate money to the fucking show, maybe we could buy a new computer for the fucking show, and then we could have a laptop with no ports to fucking wait. How would we could plug the mic in?
How would we plug the mic in through the one jack? I mean, it's got 9 hours of battery life. You plug whatever you need in there for the moment, and then, you know,
I don't like the less is more kind of.
I'm
an Apple guy. I have an Apple phone. I have an Apple computer.
Yeah, I like simplicity. I like the direction they're going in.
Maybe if there was like, okay, so now if I wanted a disk drive with a new one, if I wanted to buy it, I'd need to buy the disk drive, and I'd need to buy an adapter to plug the disk drive into the computer.
At this point, yeah, you would, and
that is lame as shit.
At this point, you would because the what comes off of the disk drive is not standard USB.
And I don't use it a shit ton.
Right.
But
that's the point of, like, buy an extra. If you don't use it a shit ton, and that's the whole
but if you
point.
Don't use it a shit ton and you have to pay extra for it, but you still kind of need it.
That's why again, when I was working there, I would point if they were really convinced and they were like, all right, go nuts for it. You're going to end up with a computer, especially college students. I was like, you're going to end up with a computer that is 3 to 4 times heavier. Right, and when
God, it's so heavy.
When you gotta lug that shit around with all the damn books that your college professor. I try to give relatively light books and not a ton of books, but I am not the average
classes, so I didn't have a lot of fucking books.
I'm not the average college professor. I get it. I get the opposite argument. I just think, you know what, 1 port, that's fine by me. 2 port, here's the part that I...
Where are you going to plug in your new, like, jack-off device port thing? Where, like, you can hook your, like, VR, like, head device.
It's gonna go wireless.
No, but like the head device goes on your head, obviously, but you need to plug in the USB.
No, whatever's on the head device is gonna communicate through Bluetooth, whatever.
I know, but you need to get your flashlight plugged into the computer so you can like fuck
your
that.
flashlight will be Bluetooth. I mean that's the whole point, is everything will connect wirelessly.
Oh.
And
is
you
that
don't
what
need that.
Is that what their goal is, to have wireless fuck communications?
That is, I believe, their goal. That is actually, they don't have time in a 2-hour keynote to tell you everything. But if you look at the notes on the tech page, I think that wireless teledildonics is.
Is that a thing?
Teledildonics.
We definitely talked about this.
We did talk about it before.
I was like, immediately, I'm like, we
definitely talked about teledildonics at some point.
And let's figure out what show it was, and then you put it in the show notes.
That's like 32 hours worth of stuff to listen back.
Maybe Brian knows.
But we already made Brian angry so that we could get the...
You made me listen to all these episodes again so I could figure out which episode you talked about teledildonics.
Which, he did that for us, though, once. I forget.
He didn't.
No, there was an email from...
He was being a jokester and probably was like, well, yeah... He probably takes good notes.
I choose to believe that he listened back and he was like...
I would like to believe that as well. He can send us angry, mean tweets.
He can send us... Everyone can send us angry, mean tweets. Do not, however, rate us 1 star on iTunes. Go to iTunes right now. Stop what you're doing and rate us 5 stars. Don't leave any comments there. Send all the angry tweets and whatever. But 5 stars on iTunes helps us.
Yes, because the more 5-star ratings we have on iTunes, the more exposure we get, and the more people will listen, and maybe will donate, and then maybe we'll get out of my fucking apartment to record.
Maybe. You know what the best part of the keynote was?
I didn't watch it, so I have no idea.
Christy fucking Turlington. Do you remember Christy Turlington?
I thought you were saying Christy Brinkley, but...
No. Fuck Christy Brinkley. Billy Joel did that. Christy Turlington, supermodel.
I'm going to have to look her up.
In our era. She was in a couple George Michael videos.
Was she in I Want Your Sex?
I don't think she was in that one. She was in... I won't let you down. Will not give you up. That one.
That one.
That one.
I don't remember that song.
So Christy Turlington, big crush of mine back in the day, and a lot because of that George Michael video. And in fact, I wrote a story in which a crush on Christy Turlington because of that video played a role. And so she was the first woman on stage at an Apple event in years. Everyone, Apple sort of aficionados, Apple fanboys, whatever you want to call us.
She's 46 years old.
She's getting up there. Everyone was kind of thinking Apple recently hired this
woman?
Angela,
what a crazy company!
What a crazy company. This woman, Angela Arntz, to head their retail division. And everyone figured she might be the first woman to be on stage at an Apple event in years.
Come on! Sex!
In fact, what they did is to talk about their Apple Watch, they gave one to Christy Turlington, and she was running a half marathon in Africa.
Taking some time to do the things she never had. Ooh.
It was a very good moment. So she... All right, I don't know why I'm trying to be serious on our fucking podcast.
I'm trying to derail your seriousness.
I was very... So Christy Turlington has this charity, Every Mother Counts, which works with mothers in developing countries. She was running the half marathon because a half marathon is the distance that many mothers in third world countries have to travel in order to get health care. And she was the person that they chose to sort of like highlight the features of their Apple Watch. And I'll get off my soapbox and we can get back to being funny here in a second. It was one of these moments that I really loved because there used to be this whole thing after Steve Jobs died
Sorry.
of that never would have happened if Steve was still around, and it was this derogatory remark. And this was an instance of that's never would have happened if Steve were around, because that charity and humanitarianism, although that might have been something he did privately, was not something he brought to the company. It's something that happens with the new guy, with Tim Cook, and I just thought it was awesome.
I'm Jim Cook, founder of Sam Adams. Is he smelling hops on stage? He's like, oh my god, these are great.
Hops on stage. I loved that they chose a woman to highlight it, a woman with a good cause, and that it was Christy Turlington, so I could just have like a boyhood crush combined with my absolute fanatical love of Apple. And it was, I do have fun. I sat there for 2 hours and I watched fucking Apple unveil products that I already knew pretty much everything about and that I don't have any money to buy.
Cool.
So I do know how to have fun.
Yes.
Fuck all y'all.
Yeah. Because apparently they were really against you.
Well, I want the angry tweets.
Oh,
we need a whole episode worth of us reading angry tweets about ourselves.
Fuckholes.
Fuckhole is one of my favorites.
Fuckface is my favorite.
Fuckface is your favorite? I'm gonna risk being offensive here and say that fucktard is my favorite.
Whatever. I don't think there's anybody with Down syndrome listening. Or anybody with Down syndrome that is currently fucking.
Okay.
Although there was that episode of, what was it, Life Goes On?
Yeah.
With
did he have sex?
I think so. Or maybe there was I think they were laying in bed next to each other, and they basically were just saying, "Are we having sex?"
Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah. That was a good show.
Was it?
I have fond memories of it. I'm sure it was not a very good show, but I actually
it was cool. The guy that was the actor that had Down syndrome, he did a good job, and whatever, and I don't know, it was a good.
I have my
family show to watch, I guess.
Yeah, my former boss has a son with Downs, and that made me always want to. This sounds
have Down
stupid.
syndrome.
No, it made me want to. Tom Brady does a bike ride. Getting back to bikes, Tom Brady.
I don't mind if you're doing it for fucking charity. Just don't do it in my fucking way on my commute.
Has a charity bike ride to benefit Down syndrome, and I've wanted to do it for years. Sort of in my former boss's son's name, but I just never have because I'm lazy and. No, I'm fat.
There was a joke that I almost wrote, and I'm gonna fucking say it now because
oh god,
I was at the gym, and this was when I was just in super depresso mode,
okay.
if you're an avid listener to the podcast, it was around episode 2 or 3.
Okay,
I was not doing so good in the brain head.
Yeah,
and
you going a little insane in the membrane.
I was maybe, but I wasn't loco. So yeah, I was at the gym, and it was on the elliptical, just trying to get back into shape, and I was sort of a little loopy because I had been working out too much. There was times where I was going to the gym and I was watching, I had some movies on my phone. I had some because when I first got my PS3, I was I need to buy a Blu-ray movie. So I bought Back to the Future, the trilogy, and it had the digital copy, so I put it on my iTunes and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I have it on my phone.
Right.
So I was just sitting and I watched, I was on the elliptical for the entirety of Back to the Future 1 and 2 on 2 separate days. I mean, it wasn't the same day.
Right.
But that's a long fucking time.
That is a long time.
And so I was getting a little loopy, and I was just working out. I was just I would go to work. I would take my walk at lunch. I still do that.
Yeah.
But and then I would go to the gym right after work, and I would work out for at least an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so it was just loopy, and I saw the little ad on the television at the gym for this bike ride, and I don't know what was in my brain, but I'm the girl that's with Tom Brady, I'm she's not unattractive.
Well, what's that? I mean, it's funny, but there's the. I mean, that's. Was she young? Was that what was inappropriate?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if she I'm
I mean, if she's young, that's inappropriate.
I didn't. I know. At point was I am going to have sex with this person or even pursue any. But I'm like, is that a crazy thing for me to be like, this person with Down syndrome is somewhat attractive?
I don't think that's a crazy. I think that's like probably what they want you to like, to not care that she has Down syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe people will be like judging me.
I don't think so.
Steve loves people with Down syndrome.
There's a Jon Stewart does a thing. A night of
Moment of Zen.
No, a night of too many stars. Is that what it's called?
I think Bill Burr was on it. He was talking about it on his podcast earlier.
So there was this girl who was the highlight of it, like last year or the year before. She's a piano player. She's somewhere on the spectrum, not Downs, but somewhere on the
autism.
On the autism. Thank you. And a couple years ago or last year, she did a performance with Katy Perry. As I've said, I'm a Katy Perry fan. When we talked about the Katy Perry halftime show, I professed that the song I hate the most of Katy Perry's is Firework. And as it turned out, the song that this girl, this younger girl with autism did perform with Katy Perry was Firework. And I kind of wanted to like it because the girl was talented, but it was fucking Firework, and I hate that song.
But the thing is, like, Katy Perry, she's got
not unattractive
Magumbos.
So this year they brought
I think that's boobs. I think. I'm not sure.
So this year they
Spring
brought
break.
This year they brought the girl back, and I'm very pleased because the artist she chose to work with this time, Weird Al Yankovic.
Nice.
And she performed Yoda with Weird Al on A Night of Too Many Stars. I think that's what it's called. And I'll try to link the video in the show notes. And it was awesome. Except that by the end of it, I was kind of like, Al, go the fuck away. She's just cool. Like, and Al kind of like stepped out from behind the piano and was kind of getting everyone in the audience to try and wave. But he was taking away from, I don't know. I got a little hypercritical there.
Come on.
Towards the end.
He was trying to be weird.
He was trying to be weird.
Weird Al. He's not just Al Yankovic.
He's not just Al Yankovic.
Although he is, I think, Al Yankovic on Twitter.
He is just Al Yankovic on Twitter. So it was really good because now I can go and I can listen to a song performed by that girl and not cringe because it's fucking Firework.
And this time it's Yoda.
It's Yoda. I mean, I'm not saying...
Which is a parody of Lola.
But it was
a song about a transsexual.
But it was really... You mean Yoda's not a transsexual?
Yes. That was my impression of Yoda.
So anyway, I can go watch that. That was a good video. So we have talked about everything except two things on this list.
What was the? I want to know the other thing besides the thing that I'm going to say.
The obvious, obvious to everyone who's in the room.
Not in the room.
It's not obvious to the people.
Wait, you're right.
I'm right. Mark that down. That's like you got to drink a 6-pack when Chris is right. When somebody says
I don't have that many beers.
Okay. The other thing besides the thing that will become obvious.
Sorry, that was my dice.
Was that Brian sent us another T-shirt design?
Oh.
And I just wanted to briefly mention it because he sent it to us a couple weeks ago,
and we totally forgot to talk about it. Sorry, Brian.
Sorry, Brian. And I just wanted to point out that in this one, do you want to describe this one?
Sure.
You describe this one.
I have a way with words, or a lack of way with words, whatever way you want to.
Whatever way you want to look at it.
So it's another Bally pinball machine based on, I believe, The Who's Tommy, and I guess I'm Tommy.
You are Tommy. You.
And there's this hot broad next to me.
You're the pinball wizard?
I'm the pinball wizard, and
okay.
Like if I'm deaf, dumb, and blind, I'm appreciating none of her features.
None of her features.
But if I'm an average dude,
I mean, you're appreciating some of her features. Don't you have your hand around her hip?
I have, her hip. Like, what am I going to be like? Oh, this is so attractive.
Well, I mean, if you're deaf, dumb, and blind, then a hip might kind of be.
This brings up another conversation here.
Okay.
If you can't see or hear. What was that dripping sound?
I don't know.
Are you pissing?
I don't think so.
I hope my bathroom's not flooding again.
Oh, no. All right, if you're deaf, dumb, and blind,
like, I guess, like, how would you know that, like, touching a curve of a lady is attractive?
Well, I mean, I would think that the feel of touching a curve is still provides some sort of sensation.
Well, I imagine, like, just soft skin would be just good, but like this.
She doesn't look like she has soft skin.
Well, I know that like the me in the picture is holding on to like some sort of fuzzy sweater.
Fuzzies. Oh, okay. All right. So I mean,
and I'm pointing to the name of the show. I don't know what was there originally, if nothing, but it's a pop bumper. This is like 100 points.
Yeah.
This is horribly off topic. Yes. He always seems to emphasize the name of the show in like very subdued.
Right.
And then like on the name of the pinball machine, it's called "This Is How North Korea Wins,"
which is one of our better episode titles. I'm not going to deny that.
But then in the background, there's two other like gorgeous ladies, which for some or no reason now have your face on.
Yes, my nice bearded face.
But the thing that kind of bothers me about this pinball machine, and like the woman that I am holding in my arm, is also has like a ball and chain attached to her. And it's like hooked onto her leg, and I'm like, this is weird. Is she like my sex slave or whatever? And I'm like, that's kind of weird and creepy.
I don't know. That's a very good question. You know, would it?
That's why I was like hoping for a more modern pinball machine. Brian keeps on finding these ones from fucking the 70s.
What we have determined in email conversation is that Brian could give us an actual T-shirt design if I gave him actual pictures of us that didn't come from Twitter.
I didn't realize. Oh yeah, that was the picture of me from when I was at the EMP Museum in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And so, I don't know where your picture came
from. Mine is probably just my Twitter bio picture.
Oh yeah.
But of course, when we talked about this before the show, that brought up the fact that you want to change the show art because. You know.
Because I don't know. I don't like that picture.
You don't like that picture.
Well, it's been there for fucking 20 or it's a 33
episodes. I mean, you know.
All right, so we're pretty much done on time.
We are pretty much done on time.
When you arrived, and if you want to quote me at the first thing that I said when I saw you, I was like, "You're wearing your Chelmsford jacket."
I am wearing. I think you might have said CHS jacket, but yes, I am wearing my Chelmsford jacket.
Yes. So. Why?
And I'm afraid now.
So okay, we're both from Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and getting local for you. That's where we both grew up, and
yes.
And I had one myself. It wasn't as good as yours. Mine was like sort of corduroy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both had a Chelmsford jacket because that was the cool thing, and then until it wasn't. And apparently it was exactly when I got mine.
I think I was going to say same thing with me. All right, so
it had our names on
the left sleeve.
Yeah.
I am afraid that after all of this, the story will not live up to the hype. That it won't be something good enough to end on. But,
CHH jacket hype.
Yeah. So I have a student. I have a lot of students, but I have
one in particular that you're fond of that wanted you to wear your CHS jacket.
No.
So you look all sexy for him.
Well, here. Careful now. No. So I had a student who, for whatever odd reason, she went to.
What?
That's why I said careful now. Let's not imply anything.
I was implying homosexual.
Oh, okay.
But so I'm less. Never mind.
So she went to a thrift shop, and apparently this is where Chelmsford jackets go to die.
And so she has one?
This student did not grow up in Chelmsford. As far as I know, is not from, she might be from the state, I don't know, or from the Northeast.
Going to college in Massachusetts, there's a good shot that the person that's yeah, whatever.
Yeah, at any rate.
I keep on not having thoughts.
Title.
I think that may be it. It's usually right at the end.
It's usually right at the end. So she picked up a Chelmsford jacket at a thrift store because that's where Chelmsford jackets go to die. I don't think it said Steve. I don't think it was yours.
I don't think I think I threw it out.
Okay.
I don't think or I might have put it in the Goodwill. So
right.
maybe.
At any rate, so
was it a corduroy one?
It was not a corduroy. This one was an actual Letterman's jacket. So here's the difference between the one that my student has and that most of the people in high school had. Mine does not have a big letter C on the, I don't know if it's the left breast.
C for cunt?
Yeah, or the right breast. I don't know where that's supposed to go.
I think it'd be on the left, right?
Left? Oh. Well, because the name is on the left. Would the C be on the right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anybody that watches hockey, where is the C on the jersey of a hockey player?
I don't know. C, not for captains.
It is for captain.
I know, but on a letterman's jacket, it wouldn't be for captain. It would be for Chelmsford.
But what was the letter for?
The letter would have been for. In my case, it might have been for band, except that I quit band in middle school, so I don't have a letter.
I'm surprised you quit band because you were the epitome of a kind of band geek.
I was. I hung out in the band hallway quite a lot.
I don't know. Like I had a weird love-hate relationship with the band community because I didn't want to be associated with them.
Yeah.
Because I was not a band person.
Right.
I was in a band.
Yeah.
And actually, Dan and I were having a brief conversation on the text message today.
Yeah.
Because he's we're thinking about doing fourth album, and there's a possibility that might be involved.
There's something.
And there's he was talking about one of the songs, and I brought up a line, and then a line from an old song that we had done like back on the second album, and then I'm like, I don't play the keyboards. In fact, I don't play any instruments. How again am I a musician?
You've got technology. That's how I'm a musician. Most of my stuff comes from apps and a passing familiarity with the keyboard. At any rate, I did not letter in anything. So I have a jacket that
you could have just gotten a letter and put it on there.
I could have
with a little iron-on letter.
Instead, I have the jacket that was pretty much the jacket people had in middle school, which has the word Chelmsford in kind of calligraphic. That is not the actual word. It's in.
I'm gonna make it worse.
It's in script on the back of the jacket, which is what all the kids had in middle school. Except I didn't get this until high school.
Yeah, you big old lame-o.
My Aunt Debbie got it for me as a birthday present for either my 16th or my 17th birthday. And
it still fits, man.
It still fits. Well, it's an XL.
It is a little big on you, actually.
I don't know what that says. So I bumped into this student at a meeting the other day, and I mentioned, because we're trying to pare down the stuff in our house, that I was unpacking, and I found this jacket at the bottom of a box, and the student basically dared me to wear it today to class, and I was like, I'm game. What the hell? I turned it into a little lesson for my earlier class. I show up for the class that the student is in, and she didn't fucking show up. So I wore the jacket kind of on a lark as a joke, and the person that I wore the jacket to make laugh, not there.
Young teacher, the subject of no one.
No. In an attempt to try and make this no, that's not going to make it funny. But somebody asked me, what is it?
Why is there a giant hole in the jacket? Because it's fucking over 20 years old.
Like 20 years. This is my 20th high school reunion. Would be this year.
Holy shit!
Or will be this year.
Can I come? Let's do a live podcast.
I don't know if Steph will want to go, so maybe
all right, I'll be your date.
So somebody asked me, what was it made out of? And I went and I looked at the tag.
Gore-Tex.
Outer shell. No, listen to this. Outer shell, 80% reprocessed wool, 20% unknown fiber.
Gore-Tex, Jerry.
Unknown fiber. Only in the 90s. You put unknown fiber on something today. I think parents, particularly those who don't vaccinate their children, would probably.
Do you want to get on that debate at the end of the fucking show? I think we'll be on the same frigging page with people should vaccinate their children.
People should vaccinate their fucking children. Fucking assholes.
Yeah. Oh, but it gives them brain damage. So does everything else in the world.
There's actually, this gives me the excuse to link it. I'll try to find it. There was a great episode of this science show where they tried their best to just explain why people might feel, not trying to give them a pass on it, because you could tell from the guy's introduction that he's on our side, but he's like, all right, we're gonna try to talk about the science of why people.
Maybe Brian doesn't want to vaccinate his kid.
Maybe
maybe he's gonna get on us on that.
I don't know. Maybe
he probably did though.
I vaccinated my kids. All right, fuck it.
Whatever. It'll be a long show.
That's all I'm gonna say. Like, the part that bothers me the most about it, as I've said, I have a boss who had a former boss who had a kid with Downs. I have friends who have...
You don't get Down syndrome vaccinations because...
I know that.
It's an extra fucking chromosome.
I am trying to build to a point.
Oh, sorry.
So I have a friend. I have a friend who a former boss who has a kid with Downs. I have friends who have kids on the spectrum. I have friends who themselves are on the spectrum. Right? The fucking idea that we're gonna not vaccinate our children because we're afraid they might get a disease that would not be the end of their fucking life, that would just make it maybe a little bit more challenging. That's the part that's most
It might be challenging in one vein, but it might be better in another vein.
Fucking exactly. That's the part that makes me the most aggravated. That of all of this, what they're demonizing is they're demonizing a whole big fucking segment of our population. Just so their kids won't get it, and then, they take their fucking unvaccinated kid to Disneyland, and a bunch of people end up with the fucking measles.
No, I never want to go to Disneyland. But I got vaccinated when I was a kid, though.
I got vaccinated when I was a kid. I'm sure I'm fine. When I had the fucking shingles
language.
When I had the shingles, there was concern that because Melody had only had one of her 2 chickenpox shots,
boosters, as they say,
that I could have given it to her. So I didn't. I was very distant from my child.
You didn't hug your child
for a couple of weeks. Yeah,
you dick.
Yeah, because I didn't want to give her the chickenpox.
Well,
which all of us fucking that's so stupid.
That was like the thing
all
that
of
happened.
us fucking had it.
I think I had it when I was 2, and I think there was also a possibility that they thought I had meningitis when I was really young, and so I could have died. So you're welcome. I don't know what that was for. So yeah, I didn't die, so you get this fucking amazing me on your radio ears.
You can also find Steve on Twitter.
It's a good way to wrap it up before I say more moronic things.
Well, I thought we were just going to end it with you off me.
No, whatever. I don't care. You can find me on Twitter at Tuesday IS Loser. All one word. Tuesday is loser. You
can find me at ECC1977. You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/33. And you can email us hot@clarkwoods.com.
And send us nasty tweets.
Send us nasty tweets so we can read them on the air. Can we do
so I can get you removed from your job because you sent something nasty to me. Sorry.
Can we
That's
read them
my soapbox.
Can we read them in our impression of Barack Obama?
No, because that's racist.
Fair enough.
You can end it now.